Yo, what's popping? I'm here looking at the Philadelphia Fusion after their kickoff clash and into the midseason madness. If you want to know how their qualifiers went, I did a video featuring that against Philly up there. And yeah, so if you like this video, like it, comment down below how you think the Spark are going to do heading into the midseason madness. And subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content. Should be a fun video coming out tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, as in the 13th, probably. So, Hunter Spark, they come in first seed, 5-1 with a +8 map differential, and they select the Philly Fusion over this whole dynasty. They end up losing to both of them, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so they're the first one out of this tournament. They are number 4 out of 4. They are the worst players in this tournament, right? And it's not great. Not a great look from them. So they lose to Philly 3-1 in the winners bracket, and in the losers bracket, they lose to Seoul 3-0. Philly was close, but in the end, they could only win any maps where Bernard played Zarya, and they didn't win one of those, so they lose 3-1. It was close, but they ended up hard trolling their last fight. They should have won by all means. They had the ult advantage. They had the positions. It was overtime, but they lose because they use their ults improperly. I don't know. It was just bad. Just bad ult usage, and they end up losing. Against Seoul, it's just a wash. They look good. Right off the bat, Alpha E was looking good, but Seoul were just better. Prophet wasn't true form. No one was beating this team in this tournament. Looking at this roster, their tanks are Gushue, Bernard, and Ligue on a two-way, who hasn't played at all. Their DPS are Architect, who hasn't played, Pineapple, who hasn't played, Shy, and Alpha E. And the supports are Irony and Super Rich. So this team had two looks this entire kickoff clash. There was Bernard on the Zarya, which looked very strong, and there was Gushue on the Winston, which didn't get a map win for like 6 or 7 maps. It was really bad, and it continued to be bad. They keep trying it, and they gave up against Seoul. Against Seoul, they said, "We are not doing this. We are playing Bernard on D.Va instead," and it looked awful. It was not good. So they have to figure out what the hell's going on with their Winston compositions. That's why they didn't make it any further, really. Their Winston comp was so bad. The Zarya comp, maybe the best in the tournament. Maybe Souls was better at the end there. Smurf looked great. But up until then, for sure, the best one in APAC. And you can't expect to win only using one composition. It's like Dallas Fuel, whereas Dallas Fuel couldn't win with one composition. And Dallas maybe played it better. It'd be interesting to see those two teams meet if they only play Zarya. And the other thing with this team is they did play the Winston. Like, they obviously had practiced it because they kept playing it on the Winston maps, which is what you want them to do, but they just couldn't figure it out. There was something about this team that they couldn't figure out how they wanted to play the Winston comp. They couldn't play it well. And I don't think it's on Gushue, because he's come in and he's looked all right sometimes. I think it's a team as a whole struggled to play the Winston comp. It's not really on, oh, it's Gushue's fault, he's playing poorly. It's just like, as a team, they didn't know what they were doing. Other than that, I also question why Alpha E was on the Tracer so often. His Genji is what he is known for. I would have liked to see him on it a bit more. His Tracer's good, but it's not great. You're like going up against Zest or Prophet. I'd take both of them over Alpha E any day. Alpha E's not bad, but when you're comparing him to Prophet, like, that's who he's up against, right? It's just not the same. I trust him way more on the Genji or the Echo, and they didn't bring that out enough. So I don't know. I feel like they could utilize Alpha E better, because the star DPS used to be Shy. For this stage, it's for sure was Alpha E. Like, Shy was playing well, but he wasn't playing exceptional. Alpha E was playing exceptional, right? I don't know. Another thing, if you plan on playing Alpha E that much on Tracer, maybe opt for Pineapple. I would consider. I don't know. I can't speak for it. I don't know if Pineapple Tracer is that much better. They both play it. They both played it on their team whenever they were together on Billy, so maybe it's not better, but I'm just saying, if looked like an option, that could have been played, especially if you're going to play Alpha E on it most of the time. So yeah, unless they figure out how to do anything on the Winston comp, or Bernard plays Winston or something effectively, this team it's going to struggle for the rest of the season, I think. Uh, Despite the star roster, despite the star talent, we thought they finally had it together. They finally were a good team, like a lot of people thought. Doesn't happen. Looking at their midseason madness, of course, it's a round robin, but the order is there. So they play Charge Dragons first week, then Philly, Seoul, and then Chengdu Valiant. So they get their Charge game early, which is probably good if you're trying to catch up to teams and you're trying to develop your Winston gameplay or whatever the meta happens to be. If it's ball, I don't know what you're doing. I don't think Bishui ball is that inspirational, so we'll see what they plan on doing there. But we'll see, right? It's good to have Charge as your first game. It's a good confidence game. I'd much rather have them at the start than at the end. Shanghai, we'll see if Shanghai have come into true form. Maybe this will be a little shaky. That's also winnable for them, I would think. Then you play Philly. Then you play Seoul. That's going to be a tough week. You want to come out of that week with one win at least. But I don't think it's the end of the world. As long as they get a win on one of Philly, Seoul, or Shanghai, you're more or less happy. A 4-2 record should be enough to get you in. You don't want to rely on going 3-3 because at that point maybe Valiant could sneak in, maybe Chengdu could sneak in, and you don't want to be on the outside looking in, especially when the race is so close. Especially in APAC, because that team that doesn't make it, like if a team gets upset by Valiant or Chengdu, or Charge isn't making it, going forward, it could have some serious repercussions on their chance of making the postseason. Or I think there's a play-in for the postseason, maybe, but you don't want to go down to that. So if you come across with one of those wins, you're looking good. If you lose to all three of them, that's not great. And then Chengdu and Valiant should be wins, but Valiant, I don't like playing Valiant at the end. You'd much rather play them earlier rather than later, because that's a team that's just going to coach itself into getting better. Chengdu should be whatever. We'll see if it's a ball meta, how they do. But if the meta suits them, they're a scary team, I think. So that's going to be it for me. Have yourself a good one, and deuces.